YB stays on your neck.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So, what you're seeing on your screen now is Paris Fury, her emotional reaction to this Tyson Fury fight. Now, the reason I'm doing this, it's not going to be a long video. Well, maybe if the YB gets ranting, it might be, but I haven't intended for this to be a long video. Essentially, I just want to speculate on what this potentially means for the Wilder versus Fury fight, because I'm sorry, them eyes, man. I guess you could argue, well, she's married to a fighting man, she's married to a boxer, so she understands that. However, what buzzes in my ear is this whole business. I remember after the first fight, Fury came out himself and said that his wife was very worried, his dad was very worried. Obviously, no one likes to see their son or daughter creating, synthesizing new languages and speaking new dialect. No one likes to hear or see that. So I can completely empathize with that. And with that in mind, look at this. They're not stupid. Paris Fury, she comes from a long line of, or a long blood of fighters herself. John Fury the same. And they've got to be thinking to themselves now. They're not, these guys, these Paris Fury, John Fury, they're not virgins to this fight game. They've got to be asking themselves the question. Well, anyone with true concern have got to be asking themselves this question. Now, Ben Davison wasn't, but he obviously doesn't have true concern. But as I was saying, anyone with true concern, Fury fan or not, whoever or not, have got to be asking themselves now, does that dude in there, does that 31-year-old Fury, not Fury versus Klitschko, does that 31-year-old Fury want any part of Deontay Wilder? Now, obviously, I've always been backing Wilder in the rematch, and I believe, I'm 95% sure now, Wilder will do ungodly things to. Honestly, I don't even want to see the fight now. I didn't want to see it anyway, but now I really don't want to see it because there's no way he can win. I thought he might be able to get on top of Wilder and rough him up, but he hasn't got that either. He couldn't rough up a complete stiff in Otto Wallin. Let's not get gas. Let's not talk about how great Wallin is. Wallin was alright in there. He was a top 50 fighter tonight, in reality. Let's be real now. He was a top 50 fighter. People like Mitch Green would have knocked Fury out tonight, as an example. The Mitch Green who fought Mike Tyson would have knocked Fury out. And Mitch Green weren't no great fighter, but I'm just trying to draw parallels here. Let's not get gassed off Otto Wallin, because journeymen of the 80s and 90s would have knocked Fury out and would have knocked Wallin out, both on the same night, in my opinion. And John Fury said himself, anyone would have filled Fury in tonight. Anyone would have, and that's the honest truth. So anyway, I'll go back to the point in this video. I've not got a good feeling. In fact, the YB's hearing from people within Fury's camp. They're not being so. I know Fury came out and called Wilder out, but maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Fury will be as confident as ever. But I'm asking myself, you got to remember as well, we're not talking about AJ here. We're talking about a man who has a particular level of mental strength, meaning he lost to Wilder. Did he go back in there with an immediate rematch? No, he didn't. He wanted warm-up fights. Now, that same man who refused to go into the rematch immediately, he said he needs warm-up fights to get sharper. Is that performance getting sharper? The man who wasn't sure about taking the immediate rematch, where, by the way, it was a 50-50 fight with Wilder. So he comes out of a 50-50 fight with the so-called best heavyweight in the world, because he needs warm-up fights, then goes into a warm-up fight and ends up going 50-50 with a top 50 heavyweight. Does that make sense? You got to bear that in mind. He wasn't confident when he came out of a good fight with a champion. Is he going to be confident now after going life and death with a stiff? Is he? I'm sorry, I can't. I'm struggling to draw the parallel here. But don't tell me. I'm sure there'll be all you Fury fans who say, "Oh yes, Tyson Fury. He wasn't confident enough to fight Deontay Wilder immediately, but now, after going life and death with Otto Wallin, he's more confident than ever. Oh yes. Oh, being cut upside his head. Oh, being split open like a new virgin has made my man Tyson Fury more confident than ever. Oh yes. Oh yes. Tyson Fury. He's so confident. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. For me, myself, and where the family comes into it, listen, if Paris Fury ever hears this, if John Fury ever hears this, I'm not a Fury fan, you know, I used to be, but I'm not now. Just tell him he's got enough money, he's robbed the bank, fight more bums. You know what, I'm actually pleading with Fury now. Please fight more bums. I don't want this don't end well for Fury. I'm telling you now, it don't. What's he gonna do? His legs have gone. His tickly jabber's gone. And the whole thing, the whole pulling wool over people's eyes is gone now. We're talking about rematches with Wilder. Wilder knows what to expect. Does that make sense? There's going to be nothing ambiguous about this fight. And now you've got people like Otto Wallin who are able to get on top of Fury and give it to him. That's a scary thought. Yeah? Otto Wallin hasn't got a 6'7" reach with a dastardly right hand on the end. And even to be fair with Wilder, he hasn't got no inside game, but still, them inside punches, they're not like Wallin's. Even though he can't fight on the inside, even though he'd be 10 times better if he shortened his shot, if uppercuts and hooks up, still, them long windy things are still more powerful than Wallin, because Wilder, to his credit, is an athlete. He's a powerful athlete with elite. He has got. I'll give him his credit. He's got elite genetics. He's got elite skinny genetics. Bottom line, he generates power. That's the facts. And I just don't see this ending well for Fury. But anyway, as I say, if my sources from the Fury camp are correct, don't be holding your breath for this Wilder fight, because if he didn't want the Wilder fight on the back of the Wilder fight, he's not going to want the Wilder fight on the back of that. Trust me. Anyway, let's see how it plays out. And actually, before I go, I want to make a message to Paris Fury or John. Well, mainly Paris Fury. If you do ever hear this message, what you need to do is put your finest pair of lingerie on. Take Fury's card out. I don't know. I'm not rich. I don't know about these fine lingeries, but take his credit card out. Go online or go down to go to some posh place in London. Find the finest piece of lingerie you can. Because you're right. What you need to do, you need to get him gassed. You need to catch him in a place of weakness. Make him maybe go on holiday with the girls for a week. Make him thirsty for it. Make him be ravenous for the particulars which I'm talking about. Make that what's the word? Make that primitive voice inside every man's body. Make him earn for you. And the reason you want to get him into this state is because you're gonna almost have to honeypot him into the mind state where he don't want this fight no more. As I said, put the finest lingerie, put the finest one on, yeah? Get him gassed and tell him, listen, if you want this cake again, you ain't taking no more fight with Wilder. If you want this, and you have to make him swear on it. I don't know, maybe there's some special pinky promise. I don't know, whatever you've got between each other. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to be doing now. You need to bring the kids into it. You need to bring yourself into it, because this man he don't need it. He don't. I'm sorry, and this is me as a humanitarian here. All jokes aside, I'm being honestly. Yes, is the white bear a bit of a joker? Yes, but on a serious note, I've got a bad feeling about this Wilder fight based on that performance. I might be wrong, and I'll be happy to be wrong. If Fury goes in there and completely boxes Wilder's head off, fine, great. I'll put my hands up. I was wrong, no problem at all. But I'm sorry. Anyone who watches that fight and thinks that there's not a devastating outcome versus Wilder or AJ, you're living on cuckoo land, man. But anyway, let's see what happens.